Hi, my name is Karen Knight and I'm the Vegan Amateur. So today I thought I would start a series of videos showcasing some recipes from friends and family, people who have passed things along to me or cooked something for me. And today the first thing that I wanted to do is a recipe from my mother-in-law. Recently, Andy and I went down to visit and she surprised us with some vegan brownies, which was really nice. They were super rich and super chocolatey, and I asked her for the recipe and she's given it to me. So this is the first time that I'm actually cooking it or baking it. So yeah, here we go. So vegan brownies. The first thing I will say is that I'm preheating the oven at about 175 degrees Celsius. My oven is fan assisted, so you might need to make that a tiny bit hotter. Actually mine is slightly less than 175 degrees Celsius because it is fan assisted. So that's about the area that you want to be in for preheating. I've got in my bowl 125 grams of self-raising flour. I'm going to add to that 70 grams of ground almonds, which I've weighed out already. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda in here. So I'm just gonna add that in. And then I've got some cocoa, and I believe this is 50 grams of cocoa. So I'm gonna add that in. I'm gonna mix all of that up. So this is all the dry ingredients really getting all mixed together here. All right, so that's all mixed up. You can see your sort of chocolatey dry mixture there. So the next thing I'm going to do, you can see I've already started preparing a sort of bain-marie, I guess, and this is for melting chocolate. The recipe just says to melt chocolate with some vegan margarine. So I've got 200 grams of vegan chocolate. I didn't want to melt it in directly in the pan, which is why I've got the kind of bain-marie sort of thing going on here, and because I don't want to burn the chocolate. So I'm just going to pour all of my, that's hot, all of my chocolate right into the bowl. And then I've got 80 grams of vegan margarine or substitute. I'm not actually using vegan margarine, but you can use it obviously. I'm doing exactly what my mother-in-law did, which was she weighed out 50 grams of coconut oil and then added to that 30 grams of vegetable oil. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do what she did since they turned out so nicely. So I'm gonna get this all melted and mixed together. It's melting straight away. I was very, very happy to see, not super recently, I noticed it a little while ago in Sainsbury's, vegan chocolate. They've got like a free from section, so I just went in there and grabbed their dark chocolate for this recipe. I've had it before just to have a little bit of chocolate, just to sort of satisfy my sweet tooth a little bit, and it's really nice, especially if you like dark chocolate. There are some milk chocolate alternatives as well. So if we're talking vegan chocolate, it's not just dark chocolate, just so you know. Very warm over here. So as you can see, hopefully you can see, actually let me bring it closer. Nice and glossy, all melty. I'm going to take this off the heat for the moment as well. And I've got caster sugar to add to the mix. I'm just going to find out how much that was. I can't remember the exact measurement. 250 grams of caster sugar. So I'm going to add this to the mix. And the recipe says, or the instructions say, to mix that all together until it's nice and glossy. I'm going to put it back on the heat because I think that might help things mix up some more. It looks glossy but slightly grainy as well, so I'm going to keep going until it's not so grainy. Okay, that looks pretty glossy to me. Let me take that off the heat. And then the next thing I have is, oh gosh, I forgot something. There's a little bit of coffee that I'm supposed to be stirring into this mixture as well. And that is half a teaspoon of coffee granules. So instant coffee. Let me get that incorporated in there as well. I've also got 75 milliliters of water. that I'm going to put into this mixture. The instructions say to hold some back in case when everything gets mixed together, dry ingredients and wet, the mixture is too dry. So I'm going to hold maybe a little bit less than half of that 75 ml back. Get this all mixed up. Okay, so we've got some ground flaxseed, and that is 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. So I'm just putting that into the mixture. And then we've also got some vanilla to go in, and that is 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. We'll get there in the end. There's 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Mix all that up. You know, I thought I'd be going in the other direction with my ingredients, so I put all the dry stuff in the big bowl. I'm thinking maybe I should have done it the other way around, but oh well. I think I'm gonna just gloop my wet mixture into my to my dry mixture bowl. I think that's mostly everything as far as ingredients are concerned anyway, so I think we're just about good to go. So all I need to do is get this bowl of hot melty chocolate and sugar and other good stuff into the bowl with my dry mixture. You can see that looks really, hopefully you can see actually that looks really glossy and chocolatey. It smells really good too. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to get this all mixed up. Hold some of that water back in case the mixture is too dry. And I'm looking at this mixture and it's like dough. So I'm going to add a little bit more. So the recipe actually says 75 to 85 ml of water. And I started with 75 thinking that was going to be plenty, but it is this is very thick. I don't know if you can see. It's like chocolate dough. That looks like a brownie mixture. I was so surprised at how delicious and chocolatey and rich these were. They were really rich. So it's probably not the kind of thing that you could eat loads and loads of in one go. Okay, so I'm just going to get this into a lined dish, square dish. In the recipe it says 22 centimeter dish. I've lined that with baking paper. Okay, so that's what that looks like, glistening in the pan. And I'm just going to pop that into the oven for 35 to 45 minutes. I'm going to come back and check at 35 minutes just to see how it is, how it's doing, and yeah, leave it in if it's not quite there yet. Right, be back in a bit. Okay, 35 minutes is up and I have brought this out and I've actually done a toothpick test already. So basically you want to get your toothpick, stick that in, and basically it should come out clean but with crumbs. So you shouldn't see wet mixture on there. Let me just hold that closer up to the camera. So you shouldn't see wet mixture on there, but it's okay that crumbs are clinging to it, according to the instructions anyway. So it looks pretty good as well. You can sort of see it's really well baked around the edges. I'm getting excited now because it smells really nice. Ooh, and it looks really yummy the way that I remember it. So I'm gonna let this cool because it is piping hot. I'm gonna let it cool and then be back for the taste test. Okay, it's all cooled down now. Well, not completely cold, still a little bit warm. And if you are a normal person, that's exactly the way you want your brownie, is to be slightly warm. because you get all that lovely sort of ooey gooiness. Oh, sorry for the paper. It's a little bit noisy. Right. So first impressions are really good. It looks right, if you know what I mean. So there's nothing about this that feels like, oh gosh, this is the vegan replacement and it's not going to be as nice as what you would usually have. It's got that nice sort of chewy bit around the edges. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this into, I think, pretty generous portions. You know what? It's already something indulgent. You might as well just go whole hog. I hope this is as nice as what I remember. It's a little bit on the flat side, but I don't know. I think a good brownie is kind of chewy. It's not cake, it's brownie. So you can see, I mean, that looks like the real deal. The specks you see are going to be the flaxseed. So I ground my own flaxseed, so maybe it's not as fine as something that you would find in the store. So I'm gonna just, oh my gosh, I'm practically drooling over this. I'm just gonna have a taste of the edge to begin with, because like I said, that's my favorite bit, because it's nice and chewy and yummy. Gives me a good feeling. That is just as good as I remember from a few weeks ago. So despite my fumbling through the recipe, it must be fairly foolproof because it still tastes delicious. And it was really pretty easy, honestly. I mean, the only fiddly piece was really some of the melting of the chocolate, but you'd really have to do that for any brownie recipe, so not a hassle, not any more of a hassle anyway than a regular brownie recipe. Right? For this one, it's a thumbs up. It's not just my mother-in-law, who is an excellent baker, that can pull off a lovely brownie like this. Pretty much anybody can do it because I've managed it. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it's something that you're gonna take away and try instead of your usual brownie recipe. Right, have a good one.